Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the First Exchange podcast with me, your host, Lydia Dahl. We are in our brand new home of Empire HQ. Obviously, if you've listened to the First Exchange podcast before, you will know that I was in Dublin. It was just audio. I've always wanted to do a visual podcast, and here we are, episode number 1. And I am delighted to be joined in studio today by undefeated 16-0 IBF Flyweight World Champion Sunny Edwards. Welcome.
No, thank you for having me on for the first exchange, first episode.
It would not have worked with anyone else for the first episode.
Oh, I know. Humble.
Humble, but acknowledging.
But Quagmire.
Put your mic up because I think it might be too low. Is it? Can we hear Sonny okay?
So I like to get nice and relaxed. In
you
my
do?
interviews.
Are we chill? I'm
going to look at the sound room now.
Yes.
Is this better?
Danielle, our producer. Sound is perfect. Great stuff.
Perfect.
So yeah, obviously we're at Empire HQ, my new home. You know, for anyone that doesn't know, I made the move to the UK 3 months ago now to be part of the new Empire family brand, Empire Fight Store, One Empire Management, One Empire Media. And obviously you have a very long history with Empire Pro Tape. Obviously you've been sponsored by them for a very long time. You've used the products for a very long time. So when Dean was telling me about, coming over here and, having this whole vision, he was like, Sonny is so important to what we do here. And then when we met each other, obviously I'd like to think we got on okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'd already done a couple of bits on Insta Live as well.
We had, yes.
We'd already done a couple of bits, so it's like in this day and age, just like meeting someone when you have a conversation.
How weird is that?
It is strange because you don't really, you're just looking for a screen, aren't you? But
yeah.
It was at the show, wasn't it? It was at the show I met you for the first time, the Sheffield one.
Yeah.
The Fight Zone show. And then, now look, we're here ready to go.
Here we are, ready to rock on the first episode.
Yeah, Empire as a brand and as a company and Dean, they've been behind me since, I think my third fight, because it was when I first was back in Sheffield, my third or fourth fight. So they've been with me really early, always supported me. I think I was the first person that ever had the pro tape on their hands. Yeah. I think we got a picture to prove it, me and Jamie. Yeah, the history that goes way back, and I've got a good relationship with all the guys, the whole team, and it's buzzing that you're a part of the team, the family. I mean, already had a few icebreakers. It's been nice. Do you know what I mean? It's been nice.
It's really exciting. For you strike me as the type of person that sort of like loyalty and that sort of like history with the same company or sponsor is very important to you. Would that be fair?
I like giving back, and I also like maintaining relationships, whether that's friendships, partnership, whatever it may be. I like maintaining relationships because when they're built organically and they're not forced and you just find yourself, I don't know, for whatever reason, for a long period of time, they're important to water those flowers. A lot of people, they might get up a little bit or get to a certain stage and they forget about all the roots that they've planted and all the seeds they've planted elsewhere. But that's not me. I like to try and keep on top of my gardening, all my friendships, relationships, etc. And with the Empire family and the brand and everything, that's just one example of that. I mean, you saw me come in today, Mr. P had his bag of treats like he does every time. Apple Lucasades, he got me some zero sugar ones as well because I'm in camp. It's just good. It's glad to finally see my pictures on the walls as well.
Who put your picture on the wall? I got as soon as you came in here, there was no picture. Where is Sunny Edwards?
I wouldn't mind, but there was like 2 of Levi. There was 3 of my brother, and I was like thinking, hold on, what's going on? Because for anyone that knows, I've been a sponsored athlete by Empire. For my time, I was one of the only. I was one of one, and then I know there's a couple more that have irked their way into position of favour. But I was the original, so I'll remind everyone of that.
Absolutely.
Opportunity. But now I've got a picture up on the wall.
Yeah, it's all good as squared now. But what you're saying as well about, the type of person you are and like watering those relationships and different things, have you found that difficult navigating that in boxing?
Not really, because one thing that's great about me is if someone gives me a reason to, I don't feel no reason of complete blacklist. Do you know what I mean? And there's a few people on there already. I'm talking journalists, a few media people, a few people, maybe even in promoters teams and whatnot. Yeah. There's a few people on the blacklist. So with me, it's very much, I'll give you as much time and as little time as I want. And then if you ever give me a reason to cut it completely, I'll cut it. And that's, again, in boxing, outside of boxing.
Yeah.
And with boxing, you know, I mean, even though we're often told, boxers are often told in roundabout ways that we're not the most important part because of the way things happen with the actions and what happens all outside of the ring. But, you know, I mean, the ones that know that we're fundamental. Without us, there is no business, there is no sport, there's no entertainment. So as long as you have fun with it, stay true to yourself. I will only speak to the people that I want to speak to. I have no... If someone comes up to me and for whatever reason, they've given me a reason not to like them, not want to work with them, not want to give them any of my time, I don't feel all too much about telling them straight up. I mean, I've had people that 12 months previous slagging me off on Twitter before one of my fights. Fast forward however many months, they're begging for interviews, emailing me for interviews and didn't think I'd remember their name. But one bad thing with me is I've got a very intricate and deep memory, so I remember a lot.
It seems like a very foolish move to work in media and to... I understand that to a certain degree you have to be opinionated, but, you know, for example, I obviously have people in this industry that fight, that are friends, that I've developed, you know, very strong relationships with and met them through doing interviews with them or at gyms or whatever it might be. But when they fight, I don't go to Twitter and, like, you know, say, I hope such and such gets knocked out or my friend's going to... Now, I understand that, you know, some people do that. But for me, it's just, I guess, because I'm probably going to work with that person down the line. So I feel like my personal relationships are not for Twitter. Yeah, I know you're a little different now. Like,
no, but let's unpack it. Seeing as I love this conversation because it spins everything on its head. Right now, we've got a boxer talking to a media person, and I mean it respectfully, but a media person. Yeah. And we're talking about media people rather than boxing. So let's stick on this for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
You've probably got a, you know, like an itinerary, but for this right now, let's unpack.
No, there's no itinerary.
Let's unpack. Yeah, we have sport of boxing, which there's so many different rat holes to get to it. There's so many different ways of accessing it and getting to a certain level.
Yes.
So what you have with these media people, right, is they'll get to certain tables. They'll be sitting at certain tables. They'll get a certain level of access to fighters, teams, and their lives that someone else to get to that same point might have had to been in a gym for years and years and years to get recognised, to be allowed to be part of that stable. Let's be real, that's how boxing goes.
Yes.
Certain trainers only say Anyway, but you get these media people that are just fleeting around at the shows. They spend all week partying, drinking, going out, doing their interviews in the day and living a good life. Let's be real, it's a really good life. I've been an outsider of that life looking in, where they all think they're always looking at our life, but I like watching what's going on around me. So you just got to understand that these people are people, and then they have their own relationships that are built that you don't always see. They might be off camera or whatnot. And then it's usually them that will lead them to doing something that crosses a line somewhere else. It will be their relationship with maybe this fighter. They could be a potential opponent of mine or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then that's why they might start talking a certain way or painting a certain narrative, asking certain questions. And then they kind of forget the bigger picture that when your business is getting stories, articles, interviews, content off a boxer and boxing people, every time you alienate someone, you might only alienate one person, but then if that person goes around and tells 5-10 people you're a prick, they might alienate a whole group.
Yeah.
And this is what the media people don't understand, that you have the people that push them and egg them on to, well, why'd you never ask the questions we want to hear? Do you know what I mean? Why'd you never go down? Why'd you never tell them the hard things? You know, you always ask them the easy questions. But you've got to understand that me going to a boxing show, me coming here, me standing anywhere, that's my dad, me standing anywhere, and someone coming and asking for a bit of my time, I can turn around and say no. Mm-hmm. So the boxing people they have to balance that and make sure that whatever they're doing in their personal, outside of the cameras, on the cameras, they're just making sure they're not alienating people they don't want to. Because people run their mouth often and then try to run it back when it's the right time. But for me, once you've done something, you never apologise for it. Yeah. Especially if the reason we're talking about it now is because I brought it up to you. Do you know, maybe if someone has slagged me off, then, because a lot of people have done this, slagged me off publicly, whatever, and then pulled me aside, sent me a message like, do you know what? Deeper thing, and over the time I've actually become a fan of you, or I enjoy watching, I enjoyed it, do you know what I mean? So like I said, there's a balance in that, but I just wanted to have that little message for the media people, because they don't often know the space they're in well enough to be as far in it as they are. And that's all I'd like to say.
Can you break that down?
Just one example. I don't want to go too deep, but I've actually had to pull someone on this topic before.
Yeah.
Remembering what tables you're sat at. I mean, you know, they'll be at a table sat with 20 people they don't know, 15 people, it might be after a fight or not. And they're running very opinionated opinions. And me, I always listen more than I speak, especially in these sort of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then I pull people up. I go, would you say what you just said to the person that you was interviewing last week that you've just been speaking about?
Yes.
And yeah, people say, it's barbershop talk, innit? We're just talking, we're allowed to just like openly, but at the same time, just know that there might be relationships outside of that.
Can I play devil's advocate here? So I agree with you. And I agree with you because that falls in line with my moral compass and who I am as a person. And sometimes I not worry, but I am aware that of the industry that I'm in, and that I could very easily be swallowed up by the industry in that.
Boxing swallows everyone up.
This is the
eventually.
thing. This is the thing, right? And that I don't want to do the exclusives. I don't want to do the, clickbait stuff. I don't want to do the, capital letters, like this is what's coming or this is what's happened. I just want to have conversations like we're having now and find out about the fighter or the person who's behind the fighter. And that's probably not a very sensible route to go in terms of like wanting to be successful. It's probably a harder route to go. It means that I have to put in a little bit more work and be a little bit more creative. But that's, that person or that media person that you're, no one in particular that will say like,
but that's most of them. They all want the headlines, they want the views, they want they all want to be out drinking up in Vegas when they get the call to go there for a big fight. Do you know what I mean? It's a crazy.
It sells, though.
Yeah, but
is that the media person? Is that the journalist's issue, or is it the game?
Both. But you write one bad headline about me that I don't like.
Yeah.
The next time you ask for an interview, I'm going to make you look foolish in front of in front of anyone we're with. Do you know what I mean? I've had one person, that I don't do interviews no more, and you know what? He's actually all right. I think he's a bit weird, but he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
But he put words into a headline that I didn't put into a story. In the story, he clarified what he meant and what he said. But he didn't put that in a headline. He put something completely different, basically. So from this day now to then, he knows he can't interview me.
But is that not the game?
Are
you not able to? I'm not again.
I'm blue chip. You know what I mean?
What does that mean?
I'm top. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
I don't know what it is. Is that like a poker thing?
Nah, it's more like it's like a stock investment. It's a blue chip. It's like the big ones. The sort of I'm blue chip. I'm not one of these little penny stocks. That's the alternative.
Okay.
I'm up there. So, and I don't even do the biggest numbers of views. If I really wanted to turn on a little bit of controversy, I can at any point.
Yeah.
But if people want my time, I'll give it to them. But don't take the piss. You know what I mean? Like don't have me as the boxer looking at something and not happy with it, because that's your one job. I told you what I said, and I know what I said, and I said it on purpose. So how can you make something unhappy of it? Do you know what I mean? Like, and by doing that, you've done something wrong. I'm not one of them fighters that will say something and regret it, because I don't often do that. I don't really say anything I regret. I say too much to do that. But it is the game. It is right. But that one person got one headline out of me, and the headline was, I want Paddy Barnes. At this time, I was 4-5-0. I'd said, he asked, who do you see yourself, like, where do you want to be competing?
Yeah.
And I went, in the next 12, 18 months, I want to see my names against Andrew Selby, Paddy Barnes, them sort of fighters. So I've looked up to, and now I'm looking to, compete with. He changed the heading. I want Paddy Barnes, like next or something. You know what I mean? Like proper just.
Yes.
And then when I messaged him, he went, but it'll do more views. I've clarified what you said in the thing. And I went, all right, cool. Don't ever ask me for an interview. To the point, fast forward 2 years later, he'd come up to the gym, all the way from London or wherever he's from, to Sheffield. He'd asked my trainer to try and get an interview with me. He said, look, he's not going to do it. When he was here, he then got my number. I think he already had my number. Tried reaching out again and get my trainer to say, look, he's here. He wants to apologise. A part of me nearly went, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and never turn up. A big part of me wanted to do that, but I just left it, ignored it, because still Blacklist. I don't care. You know what I mean?
You see, I don't need
media. I don't need media. Not many boxers do. No, we don't. We don't. You think we do, but we don't. Once you get to a certain level where people want to see you box, media is media, and really, it's like the other side. It's like media versus us. That's how we see it. So it's like we don't need media.
Do fighters really see it like that?
A lot of the time,
the media
as soon
are
as there's some
against
bad, yeah, of course, because they know. Same way I know, they're not everyone, but anytime that there is a story that will paint you in a bad light, that can perhaps rinse out a pound note somewhere or whatever, then it's gonna get run, pressed and sent out. So
let's look outside of you, the boxer, and media. Like, let's look at the wider responsibility, the wider value that media brings to the sport in general. Fair enough, Sonny Edwards, the world champion, might not need the exposure from these particular media outlets, but like, look at the people coming up behind you. If media is wiped out and every fighter just has to make it on their own with their own social media and their own promotion,
but that's why I say we don't need media, because there's so much of it. So, but I can't answer what you just said.
I feel personally attacked right now.
No, but there's so much media that you can pick and choose.
Of course,
I could pick 3 people to do interviews with on a semi-regular basis every time I see them every couple of months.
Yeah.
And no one will notice that I'm not as active as the next one that's doing all the channels that will do.
Because they will just take from each and someone will just create an article.
Most of them, like, I'll be real, not trying to think, but most of them don't really do that much anyway. So it gets to a point where you coming to speak to me, I know straight away that I'm probably helping that person out a lot more than they're helping me out.
Yeah, so which would have been the case with me.
Yeah, but so therefore I pick and choose who I do.
Yeah.
And if them people there then decide to do something I don't like, well then they're double never ever, like, maybe if you're on ITV or BBC or one big outlet, you might be able to piss me off a few times. But if you're like a YouTube boxing page that's getting like average 3,000-4,000 views on a video, and you've been doing it things and you've been going all this shit, like, you're there on a wage to come and interview people like me. I'm not here on a wage to get interviewed by you. I do not need to do it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So understand the game. Be polite. Be respectful.
Yeah.
Ask the right questions people want to hear, but don't ask the questions that you know are going to offend. Do you know what I mean? There's a set of rules that people can follow easy, and then even give the opportunity to the interviewee to speak about what they want to speak about.
Can we talk
ask them a question?
Can we talk about that last part where you just mentioned there about don't offend? Yeah. Because we live in a society now where everyone is offended.
Read the room, innit?
Some people aren't good at reading the room. I specialise in it.
That's what skill you should have if you're in media. You're dealing with people.
Yeah, I agree with
especially
that.
Especially boxing. You're dealing with
I agree. You need to be a people person if you're going to work in media, 100%.
In boxing as well, you've got to remember who you're dealing with. You're dealing with... Let's talk stereotypically.
Okay, yeah. Like this is my area where I'm enjoying this is going now.
And the reason why I can speak stereotypical is because I've had the experiences.
Yes.
So 90% working class first and foremost.
Yeah.
Yeah? 90% working class. Doesn't matter what race they are, don't matter what thing. A lot of boxers come from struggle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Most. Probably more than that. So you're dealing with people, usually, I don't want to say uneducated, but I'm going to say undereducated. And that's whether they decided to go all the way through GCSEs. Most fighters that are boxing for England at 13, 14 don't take school seriously. I'll tell you that now. My brother being one of them, Dalton being another one of them. Just to chuck a few examples out there. Like, they didn't take school seriously. Like, it was at that age, 15, they're missing school to go and join the England boxing setup for the weekend and missing the Thursday and Friday. Do you know what I mean? So
100%.
So we have a lot of that naturally. And then you have a lot of the people that are finding ways out of school anyway, for whatever else they're doing, then find their way to boxing. So that's a large bulk of it.
Yes.
Undereducated. I'm going to say undereducated.
Yeah,
I don't mean it offensively.
That's a good coin to phrase it.
Because I'm not saying they're not intelligent. I'm not saying they're not clever. I'm not saying you know what I mean?
They have a different type of intelligence.
So with that, they meet certain people in their life. They have a different pattern to what these media people, because the media people, we could stereotypically, more educated. Probably study some sort of, at least college, maybe university, maybe media studies, maybe X, Y, Z. Yeah. But you're a bit more learned. You did them exams and essays when you had to reference. I'm talking about the kids that didn't know what reference in.
Yeah. The
biggest thing, like, they don't understand. No, do you know what I mean? If you, do you know once you're, okay, then people know what it is like. So let's get to that point, yeah? But then some of them will try and antagonize and try and sort of bait out and sort of have people look stupid. I don't think it happens all too much no more, because it gets to the point very quickly into the media people's job where I don't think they really care that much to do that. And then it goes, how's camp been? When's your next fight? Anything you want to say? I want to thank some sponsors? All right, that's good. That'll get 10k views. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what gets the most part of it until an interview they're excited about. So I don't think people even try and triple their up-and-comers up. Like, perhaps at one point they probably were doing to try and get... So it's just a bit of like a repeated exercise, if I'm honest. The whole, like... And that's why I say, when you get to a certain stage, like, Eddie Hearn's shown the world right now that he don't need media.
Yeah.
He just launched Matchroom TV... Brought all his own people from every other news outlet.
Okay,
And he made his own thing.
100%. What Eddie Hearn and
he'll create his own media.
Is they're at the top of the game. They have changed the game. Game changed, right? Game changed.
Content is key.
Content. They understand what the viewer wants. They understand.
4:00. 4:00.
You can't get over this that you had to watch boxing from 4:00 in the day. Are you happy about this?
Happy.
Yes.
I seen that there was a boxing show starting at 4 that didn't finish till midnight or whatever it was, 11:30, whatever. And I sat there for 8 hours and watched it.
But listen to me.
Content is great.
Eddie Hearn and Matchroom have not just cropped up overnight. Like they have the experience of being in this industry for a very long time. So, and they probably have the financial back. Well, they do have the financial backing as well. So with experience, I don't think that we should just say, okay, all media needs to just disband from boxing because Eddie Hearn and Matchroom.
What I am saying is, what I'm saying
Can I just actually say that? I think Eddie Hearn and Matchroom are fantastic.
Yeah, no, sweet. And like I said, that 4 till midnight, whatever, was great for me. I enjoyed it. I did not move.
Yes.
I sat still and did not move.
Yeah.
So I was doing market research, you know what I mean? No, I'm joking. But when doors got locked off and Eddie just wanted one person with a camera, Coogan, at his shows.
Yes.
And every other media outlet pulling their hair out, getting Zoom interviews. Who needs who? Like, come on. Like, just understand that when the media are there, yes, they're shedding light, they're showing exposure, but they're not needed, they're not necessary because it can all get controlled in-house.
Can we talk about this for a second? Because
Come on, I know it's probably offensive to you.
I don't get offended.
But
I don't get offended.
This is why a boxer like me will get annoyed when someone will step out their line when it's a media role. Do you know what I mean? When you're stepping out of your place, when you're being cheeky or you're doing something that you shouldn't do.
I'm going to say something right now, right? So this is something that, I'm not just saying it because you sat here, right? I have, in our meetings at Empire HQ, I have discussed this before about a similar thing of people not realizing how, maybe not privilege is the word, but have a level of gratitude to be welcomed into a gym and to do interviews with fighters and coaches. For example, when I went to your gym, Steel City, and
shout out Steel City.
Shout out Grant Smith, who is my fave, absolute fave, right? But Jamie Sheldon, Cutman Sheldon, when we were going down to film, I was like, do you think that Grant will do an interview with me? And he was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like, but he's a Sagittarius. I'm a big astrology person.
Here we go.
So I was like,
I'm a Capricorn.
You're a Capricorn.
That's
we
why
know
I'm
this.
difficult.
Didn't I not say this?
That's why I'm difficult.
Headstrong, opinionated, doesn't like to change your mind.
Yep.
There we go. Capricorn.
To be fair, when I started really looking into what a Capricorn entails and what entails about myself,
yes,
I started believing about astrology a lot more. And then when I started like meeting a few Cancers and a few of these and a few of that, and yeah. So we'll go.
Do you know what my star sign is? I'm a Leo.
A Leo.
I did tell you this in our meeting.
Isn't it?
It is the line.
That's the line.
Do you think I embody a line?
Yeah, definitely. We've got orange everywhere, so definitely.
Yeah, actually, good shout. Yeah.
See, you didn't even know that spirit animal.
Yes,
spirit. And it's found you to Empire.
Listen.
There we go.
We can go down that track if we want to go.
Yeah, I can go deep. I can speak about anything. Anything I can
Right, let me get my point across, right? So I was in the van with Jamie Sheldon and I was like, Jamie, first of all, I don't like being told no, which is like, that's my issue. Like I obviously, I'm glad I'm in therapy. It's something that will come up. But within reason, I don't mean to be a brat. But I was like,
no one that's being told no today, naturally.
No, I mean, because I was so excited to meet him and that I wanted to speak to him and stuff. And Jamie was like, he's just totally not going to do it. He doesn't work with media. He just doesn't like doing it. He just wants to
do this. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you just because your hair's come out and afterwards you're going to be like, oh, I wish Sonny said that.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is why you were the perfect first guest. This is my makeup, okay?
That's because of the hair. Yeah, perfect.
Thank you very much.
Start what you said again.
So, cut. So I was like, listen, I I was hoping to speak to him, and I have so much respect for him. I've heard so much about him. And then I was like, you know what? Okay, I understand that. I appreciate that he doesn't want to do interviews and he's selective, right? So that's fine. And then we got there and we got to chatting, and, you know, we just had a really good chat. He sat me down. He was talking about, you know, starting the gym from the amateur end to professional. And then he was like, you know, just being very welcoming. And I said, Grant, will you do an interview with me? And he said, of course I will.
Yeah, and so I disarmed him.
I disarmed him, but not in an intentional way. I was just so... I felt so grateful that he was giving me his time, and that he, you know, he's a busy schedule, and he was sat down on the ring next to me, and he was telling me all these like amazing stories from like when he started the gym, and just the experiences that he's had like with all these champions that he's like raised, you know. And that alone was enough for me. I was like, I feel so grateful to be here. And on the back of that, the conversation that we're having, the meeting here on a completely different topic was, it really bothers me that people will be in a situation like that and not feel grateful to be able to be welcomed like that, and just expect it because they're a journalist or they're in media, or like, oh, this is what I'm doing and I'm here, and what, for whatever reason. And I think the reason for me being like that is because of how I view the sport and the love I have for the sport. And for me, it's not just about the fighting. It is about the people, and it's about the community and the camaraderie and what a fighter has to do to get to the ring. You know, what they have to mentally do, what they physically have to do. And for me, fighting as a whole is like this really, really condensed synopsis for life. Every emotion, every up and down that life can throw at you, it usually happens for a fighter in a fight camp. You know what I mean? So
the people, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're not video game characters.
But this is it, and it's and sometimes I feel like people forget that
they
you're
expect
humans,
the same person to turn up
and
twice
it's
an hour.
like you do that, and you know I do a bit. I don't know if you know. Well, you do know, because you got a few knees and elbows off me.
Yeah. Less said about that, about.
But I think it's because I've been in gyms for many years. So although I'm not competing on a high level,
relate.
I've competed to a level, and I'm surrounded by professional fighters all the time. So I can relate to
empathy,
it.
that's it. That's what you need.
Empathy, that's the word.
But do you know what? A lot of people, 99.9% of people that walk this planet, don't understand what it takes simply to be a fighter of any level.
Yes.
From an amateur, sparring even. Like a lot of people, if you just find themselves in a space where there happened to be a ring, if you went, yo, you come on, jump in, spar. 90% of people are saying no, straight out, no chance. I don't know what I'm getting into. I'm not trained for it. I'm not equipped for it. And that's just jumping in the ring and having a spar where nothing matters. Now, strip back me, I said, let's just go to my world title fight. 16 years embodiment of works, blood, sweat and tears, sacrifices. You know, how many times have I done an 8-10 week training camp when I'm basically on lockdown mode, and for years embodied into it being one night fighting someone that a lot of people's eyes that I had no chance against, and having to think about one person on one night and one moment that could potentially change your life forever.
Yes.
For 13 weeks, going to sleep 3-4 weeks out. I don't usually get this too much. I was going to sleep, and you know, as a boxer, I get them twitches. Yeah. Every boxer, any girl that's ever had a boxer partner, or a combat sport partner, will know the PTSD that they go through every night, especially when they're in camp. I'm talking when you're falling asleep, the twitching, throwing jabs in your sleep, all sorts. It's real life PTSD. If you don't understand it, you're having a fight 2-3 times a week some weeks, you know what I mean? And all of that goes into one. And then you've got to put up with everyone having their opinion on it. Everyone, that media plays, that YouTube video pop up there, our son is getting knocked down in 3 rounds, which to me bounces off me. Yeah. It really does, because...
But now it does, but did it at one point not?
It always has, because... Okay. Right, you're going to meet him in a minute. My dad always armed me with the belief that I was the cleverest person in the room from about 12, 13 years old. That sounds crazy, but generally my dad used to tell me that no boxing trainer will be able to teach you more than you already know. From a young age, that's what I was getting told. And I know it's not right, But it armed me with a certain set of belief that
Mindset.
whatever I go into, I can do.
Yes.
And it goes that I don't even need no one else. And there's been times when I've had no one else. Sometimes I've done stuff myself. Like, you know, my second pro fight, I had someone that never been in my corner. My brother wrapped my hands. I flew from Marbella to Scotland that day, jumped off the plane at 3 o'clock, was in the ring at 8 o'clock against an opponent that 24 hours, it was meant to be someone different, 3-4 kilos lighter, was now a kid 3-4 kilos heavier. Do you know what I mean? And that's just one example, but I've always thought no matter what room I'm in, I'm not uncomfortable.
Well, I'm glad that you brought this up because that has always been one of the endearing elements of Sonny Edwards is this like bulletproof mindset. Now I know that the majority of fighters in this game, in fighting, in combat sports, they've got a bulletproof mindset, but sometimes it's not 100%, you know, the truth.
Got triggers. Everyone's got trigger points.
Everyone's got trigger points, but you are one of the very few people that you are as you seem.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, you've met me firstly on the internet, then at
Yes.
shows.
Let's not make me out to be an internet bride here now.
No.
Sonny Edwards. I wasn't on Tinder or anything.
No, we weren't on Tinder. We was on Fight Connect TV. It was on Fight Connect TV.
Clarify that.
Collaborating with my own Instagram. We was doing the collaboration. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
So you had knowledge of what you thought I was from then.
Yes.
Then you met me at a boxing show.
Yeah.
Then we've gone on, you know, a family drink night. You know what I mean? So we've broken the ice.
Yes.
And yeah, for you to say that, that's a great deal. That's a compliment because I don't care about people thinking I'm real, thinking I'm consistent, but I try to be real and I try to be consistent. So when someone does, you know, pay that's as great as a deal compliment ever because
of course.
I don't care about being liked. I don't care about being disliked. I don't care about being appealing to people. But if I can just wake up, go to sleep and live with myself in between that, then just that's the most important
Which is the point where, you know, when people say like, I don't care if this person says that about me. I don't care if people don't like me. And I think sometimes I say, I was going to say, can I swear on my own chat show?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I say, I don't give a bollocks with something. And then I'm like...
But really, by you saying that, you've pinned to yourself that I say this when I do give
I'm aware of like, I actually do give a bollocks. Say that again?
A bollocks. That's all right, that wasn't it? I wasn't too bad. Yeah, I spent enough time around Irish people so I can pick up a few lingo.
But with you, like... I've never found a moment of all the times that I've been around you that there's been that... I think he does care. Like you really don't care.
Especially the internet stuff, which a lot of people see, right? I wish I'm going to start filming, just have a little camera in the corner when I'm going for something, yeah? Because, like, there'll be certain things that you would think should be the most offensive thing. I'm talking things that have said to me that have multiple of groups of my friends ringing me. We've got cars full. We're going to go find this person. Honestly, and I'm laughing. Like... Genuinely.
Really, your friends would literally be like...
This is on my touch wood. I don't even know if that means anything. But I mean, on my 2 babies' lives.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. We'll go to it. Curtis Woodhouse thing. Put something about my mum. I had a phone call within 5-10 minutes of that. So we're going to go get this pussy on now. And this is...
My nerves.
This is on... Like, that's on my 2 babies' lives. Yeah. I laughed. Shut the fuck up, you idiot. It's Twitter. Do you know what I mean? It's Twitter. Shut up, idiot.
Okay, but this is the danger because not everyone is Sonny Edwards that can say, all right, take a moment and let's think about this. Now, we done an Instagram live interview the morning that the Curtis Woodhouse stuff had kicked off. And like, you know, I was like, it's great fun, blah, blah. Remember I texted you later on? You didn't get the voice note until the following day. But I had cut out the bit that you had said about Curtis, like, you know, basically having a bit of a banter. And I was like, this actually will go down really well on Twitter because it was trending and stuff.
Yeah.
I cut it, I put it up, and then within 20 seconds of me putting it up, I got loads of DMs, I got loads of replies. People been like, you know, Sonny Edwards is going to get a league, like, you know, he could be sued here and like, you know, tagging you in it. And I was like, oh my God. So I text you straight away and I was like, Sonny, I need to like, just, can you watch this clip? And I probably should have checked it with you first if I could put it up. And then I didn't hear from you. And I was like, oh no, what did I do? And my conscience kicked into play and I was like, just delete it. Because I didn't want to stir. I don't want to do this. And then the next day you were like, Lydia, if I say it, you cut it, you put it up. Like, that is it.
If I say it, I meant it. I said it on purpose, and that is what I live by.
But that Curtis Woodhouse saga, I mean, for me, you're both two men, you're both two adults. It's banter, it's back and forth.
It's like we're measuring our dicks online in front of everyone, and that's what we're doing.
Essentially, yes. I mean, I'm glad you said it.
Dragging our balls around everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
You said it.
Like, no, when you underpin what a male and a man is, yeah.
Yes.
Let's look at anecdote time.
I would love you to.
So my female dog, Duchess.
Yeah.
I'm going to use their real names because they're animals.
Yeah.
And people don't care about animals as much as they care about humans, unfortunately. But Duchess, coming season.
Yes.
Her housemate, boyfriend, cousin, whatever you want to call him, Kilo, my male dog.
Yes.
A bit older than her. She's about 9 months first season. He's about 15, 16.
Okay.
He has never experienced the finer things of a woman's touch. Female dog, woman touch. Okay. So he doesn't know what he's expecting or experiencing or why he wants. But for 2 weeks, that dog is not eating food and just looks at her. She's in a cage. He's created over there.
It's actually so romantic.
And he just looks at her. No, it's not.
It
Puffing,
is.
Ranting and
all right, maybe not.
But let's underpin, what is really going on here. Yeah? Yes. This is just a man and his testosterone overthrowing to the point of he don't even know what it does, but he knows he wants it. Do you know what I mean? So then we dial that back. I say all that to say this, and we dial it back to what men are doing. Yeah. Right now, I am in the public eye type professional boxer, ready to. My personality over here, my personality traits, I'm a wind up. I like controversy. I like a bit of back and forth. I'm very thick-skinned and I love a laugh. And I love being a talking point of stuff like this, especially when I haven't started it, because I never like starting anything. And Curtis Woodhouse, I mean, he apologised, so I'm not going to, this stint would be very different what I was about to say if we were still going on. Yeah. But him, retired, still cares and worries about platform. He's controversial anyway, similar to me, likes to wind up, likes the back and forth. Yeah. So when you have both of us with both followings, and for me, I didn't engage. I thought it was cheeky to start with. I gave him the chance to elaborate, and then, okay, we're off then, let's go, innit? So then I started cussing, he started cussing. Yeah. But it's just like school playground shit. Yes, that's what I keep calling it.
It doesn't matter how big.
But it's catharsis. This is what the beauty of it is. It's a safe environment. People that you might not think, the people that rang me, but me, I know that this was like verbal sparring in a safe public environment where, don't get me wrong, if it goes there, it goes there. That's just life, isn't it?
You are a professional fighter. You are a world champion.
Yeah, but so it's all you have in this world, forget all of that. Yeah. You have 2 things in this world. And what are they, Lydia? Tony Montana told us, your balls in your word. So everything else that you might say, professional fighter, personality this, X, Y, Z, doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. Like, I could get cancel culture tomorrow, not be able to fight again. I'm still going to find happiness on my 24 hours. Believe me, whether it's whether, it doesn't matter to me. So, there's a lot that could go wrong. You might get sued, like you said. Yeah. But 1, I won't turn up to court. And 2, you ain't got nothing to sue me for. So it doesn't really matter if you try and sue me. I move address.
Jesus Christ.
I move address more times than a traveller does, so you're not going to find me.
But listen, with that, I don't care how big whoever's dick is. Do not bring somebody's mother into the argument.
Yeah, but I'm not an innocent party, am I?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Do not bring people's mothers. Do not bring people's children. But it's the same way when fighters are doing the dick swinging before a fight, and it's like, the girlfriends get brought into it, the wives get brought into it. I've been in situations before where people like will use you as like bait against somebody else.
But you know what? So, 2 twins
Easy now.
No, something like that. No. Two twins taught me a bit of, you know what I mean? A bit of, so when you learn something of, you should learn something of every person you meet, yeah.
100%.
And the two twins I'm talking about, them are Cormac twins.
Yeah.
The craziest, most batshit crazy kids I've ever met.
Yeah.
Parents, loveliest people you'll ever meet. I do not know where and how they come here. Don't get me wrong, they're legends, the McCormack twins. So I don't mean like that. I just mean they're crazy, innit?
Yeah.
Batshit. Anyway, one night, this is a funny story. I don't know if I can even say it. It doesn't really matter.
Take a breath.
No, it's definitely can. It's not deep.
Okay.
It's not deep.
Okay.
It was in a Premier hotel in a multi-nations camp. There was so many different countries. And I was in a room at the time, I think, with Peter McGraw, the two McCormacks, and Callum French. A bit of noise with mucking about was messing about anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think French might have went, whatever, we're staying in this hotel for the camp, yeah. And you know, the security come, not you gotta be quiet. It's like midnight, whatever, yeah. All right, cool, boss man, go on. And then for no reason, yeah, and I don't know why this has stuck with me, Pat took off his jacket, a nice white, red and blue Adidas jacket that looked like a GB one, but it wasn't. It was fancier than that. Like he'd got it to wear with his GB stuff, so he wasn't getting like, oh, don't be wearing no night tracks. You know what I mean? You still had to be quiet. And he put it on the floor, it got midnight, and he's poured a cup of coffee all over it. And I didn't understand it. And he went, it's not how funny you are, it's how far you're willing to go. And for me, that's it. You know what I mean? It's not how funny you are, it's how far you're willing to go. And that's with anything.
Okay.
If I'm willing to go further than you, you're not going to beat me or nothing.
Inverted commas, men. That is men.
That is men. Summarized.
That is men.
Summarized in one sentence.
You know, as a woman, there have been times in my life, Sonny Edwards, when I have said to myself, if I was not with this person, I don't know how he would live. Yeah. I don't know. And unfortunately, I find myself very attracted to, well, how would I say?
You're going to tell us your type? Is that what you're telling us?
No. I mean, men who are wild and free.
Wild and free. Okay. Yeah.
We put a thing on that, and like are complete alpha males.
Okay, buff out their chest.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes you can just be like, just think about this situation. Men are fascinating to women in that context that I feel like, and again, I don't want to put myself in. Men are actually very, very simple. Simple
compared to you lot. Simple.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
We are complex,
very
beautiful,
complex,
divine beings, but so are men. Men are opposites. You know, you're simple.
But we have less pre-settings. We have much less pre-settings.
Go on.
Hungry. Horny.
Yeah.
And maybe tired. I don't know. We have very few presets. We don't have all too much in between that. We fuck about and we do the same stuff that we've been doing since we was 10 or 14 or 18 years old, just in a different, like, remember we was playing with toy cars?
Yes.
And now you have men that go and drive all Saturday.
Yes.
You have, we used to play kickball out now, and then you have the men that go play Sunday League.
Yes.
There's nothing that, like, no matter what man you're doing, they're just doing something in a different version of what I was doing as a kid. You still have the 30, 40-year-old men that play PlayStation 8 hours a day. I mean, we are very simple creatures, and that's why it should be a lot easier for women, and I don't want to use this word in a negative way, but to manipulate us to do more what they want. And I'm more surprised.
Hang on a minute now.
And I'm more surprised that you're not.
That's a negative word, Sonny.
No, but I don't want it. I want mold. Okay, let me use the word mold, and then it sounds better, innit?
Yeah.
So
I'll give you mold.
A woman should find it easy, to keep a man contained. That's what I'm going to say. To fit their bracket, as long as it's got a good foundation to start with. You look so surprised, and I don't know why.
Explain yourself here. What? So you think that a woman should know how to contain a man? You should
know how to steer a man. That's what I mean. Steer.
Oh, you mean steer, as in like help them navigate this world,
and help them navigate into your world is what I'm saying. For a woman, the amount of times I speak to girls,
little pig.
No, but the amount of times I speak to girls and they're struggling with one of many, many things, and then when I'll sit there and have a conversation with them from a friend's perspective, as a male, and then they look at things maybe a little bit different, but do you know what the worst thing is?
Go on.
And this is I don't know how we've gotten to this topic, but the most important thing that usually happens to derail that is women's cognitive dissonance.
Please explain.
They see the red flags and they ignore them. Time and time again. They ignore them. Every time, usually. And then the things that I will then come out and say about whatever topic they're talking
This is a very
about.
interesting conversation.
But the things that I will come out and say about whatever topic conversation happened to be, when I'll put in my... Like, I'll be reading the storyline and I'll be trying to just put in where I think that maybe that might be a lie, this, da-da-da-da-da-da. And every time I do that, the girl will always say the same things. They were like, I thought that, but I wanted to do this. Or da-da-da-da, I wanted to do this. So really, I think girls need to G-check themselves a lot more.
What does that mean there?
Hold yourself accountable. And know the game, understand the game, and look at men as
Why does there have to be a game?
But it is a game. Everything's a game. Life's a game.
No, I can't get down with that.
You don't think nothing's a game?
I do think...
How many times?
I think everything is a game, but I don't think that love and relationships should be a game.
But should be and are is two different things.
Yeah, but like... So that is where
Okay, how many times? Can I ask you one question?
Of course.
How many times have you looked at your phone, seen that it's taken a couple of hours or a day for them to reply, and you haven't replied instantly because you thought, nah, do you know what? Let me get back to that. And that's just one example. The amount of times we will do these little micro corrections of our personality to try and, for whatever reason, fit into the right timing, the right amount of effort. You asked me to come last time, so I'm not going to ask again. I'm not going to double text. You know, all of that nonsense.
Yeah, I think that is I think when you get to a certain age in your life, that goes out the window.
You think that, but does it?
Well,
you'd like to think
for
that.
me, like if I can, with anything that we're discussing here tonight, I can only speak based off of my own experiences,
of course,
right?
And what
That's
you
all
hear
I
from
have.
other people.
Yeah, or my perceptions of other things, right? So for me, because of the job that I'm in. So we're recording here. Before you came, I was getting ready. Afterwards, so it's probably going to be like 6 hours. And so I haven't, say if there was someone that I was texting.
A significant other, yeah.
I haven't texted him for half a day.
That's busy woman sentence. That's different. See, now that's different. That might have been a bad example.
No, but I understand what you're saying.
That might have been a bad example. But do you know when... If you're ever in a situation...
Give another example here because I'm liking these examples.
Yeah, but if you're ever in a situation where, like, you're second guessing yourself and whatever the other person is making you feel like, for whatever reason, that you're having to second guess yourself and maneuver away around something, then straight away it's on the wrong footing. But that's every time.
Okay.
Every time at the beginning, that's every time.
So it's a cheesy movie, right? But it's one that most women that I know that are in my life watched it and went, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Go on.
He's just not that into you.
He's just not into you. Yeah, there's also that. And do you know what? Yeah. When men go fishing, they go fishing for different reasons.
Why are men going fishing? To actually fish?
To sport.
Are we talking about actual fishing?
No. Fishing in the...
Because I was like, we're going to meet the girls that go fishing.
No, okay. But when men go searching for a suitable mate,
yes,
they go often for one of a few reasons. Usually two. And one is the sport fish. You take it out, you enjoy it for the whole of 2 minutes, and you dash it back into the ocean. That sounds horrible, innit? That sounds horrible. But then, but come on, is that not the case? From your personal experiences, I'm not saying that all yours have gone like that, but from what you know about men and you know about women, is that men do that to a certain degree. There'll be sometimes that man is just on certain things, regardless. You could doesn't matter what you do, that they're on that. But then there's the other ones that they've got like the trophy fish, the ones you take home, you put up on the wall and you enjoy for a longer period of time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no one wants to be a trophy fish.
No one wants to be a trophy fish.
No one wants to be a fish that gets shagged back into the bleeding water.
So what would you
no one wants to be a trophy fish.
No, but when I say trophy fish, I don't mean you're just there blinded as a trophy. I mean they take you home, they take care of you, they look after your pride of place in the household. No, I mean that by a trophy fish. Maybe
I don't know if that's appealing.
Maybe not to a woman.
Maybe to some.
But if you could be one of the two fishes.
Is that what men want? Do men want to have a trophy fish?
Nah, because when I say they want to take someone home and have someone in home, But then that fish needs to feed them. It needs to, you know what I mean?
You're going hungry. You're going
you know
hungry
I mean?
if you're dependent on me to feed you.
100%. What I'm saying is,
I'm in the studio with Sonny Edwards. Feed yourself.
sometimes,
But go on.
sometimes a man's only intention with that woman, that conversation, that whatever dialogue they're running to you, is just to get to the clarting and then go back to whatever they're doing.
To get to the what?
To get to the clarting.
The clarting.
I wanted to use a word that isn't
I have
so brazy.
never heard that word before. But
And you can imagine what it means, isn't it?
I think that is okay. But the difference is there needs to be communication and there needs to be clarity between the two people.
And you have the men.
So men need to be upfront about
Definitely.
it and say, do you know what? Like, I'm having a great time with you right now. But this is probably where it's going to go, because what happens is women, and it's in our DNA.
That comes with maturity. And I'll tell you why in a second.
Yeah, right. So obviously I'm not speaking again for all women, but majority of women. Biologically, when we have sex with someone, there is a chemical that is released within our body that makes us...
Soul bonds.
What?
Soul ties, man.
Soul ties?
A woman, you give a bit of your soul away every time you sleep with someone new.
Well, that is true. If we're going to go down the spiritual route, that absolutely is true. You know,
that's why
that your energy,
we're going to underpin so many things right now. We're going to underpin so much on.
Your life force, you know what I mean? But also, we biologically are... A chemical is released in our body to... physically and emotionally make us attracted to men that we've slept with, because our body needs to what's the word?
To reproduce.
Procreate. And so to do that, it's like attaching to... What are you laughing at?
What I'm about to say in a minute, okay?
Right.
And this is why the game, we have two different players for a reason, yeah?
Yeah.
Because you said... When you have sex with someone, your body creates a hormone that makes you more physically attracted. You'll get their pheromones. You'll like their smell. They'll come back from the gym, and that smell is no longer a bad smell to you. It becomes a nice smell. So, what happens with men when they finish whatever they're doing? Post-nut clarity, it's called. Yeah. And at that point, not before that, at that point, a man will know what their relationship with that woman is like, because there's two different things. There's either, what is this person doing next to me? Get out of my house. Whether that's what you do or not. No, but this is the post-nut clarity.
Yeah, okay.
Or you look at them and think, yo, that was wicked. That was da-da-da-da-da. You can stay. There's two. But it's at that point they know, definitely. And before that, they don't care because they're thinking on their balls. So that's why the game is very different. That's why you as a woman need to protect your lady garden and make sure the only people that come into it are people that water in it, not coming and stamping and
I agree.
Dashing around. But that's on you, because men... But
also, can I just say that if you want to just
women could do their thing,
enjoy your thing,
but understand
go
what
do
you're
it.
Getting into.
But be aware that your body is chemically going to fool you.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's going to fool you.
Yeah, differently.
And that is the thing,
especially when you put in work as well as the man. It's
so that's why you need to be so careful.
And then there's the social environmental factors as well. That naturally a woman doesn't want to be freeing up all over the place, naturally, societally, not every girl, but let's talk stereotypically, as that's what we have. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be doing that. Then they don't want to be seen. You know, like, the difference as well is women will go and do something, yeah, and you know, if they're ashamed about it, their best friend won't even know. This is what I've led to believe. But you see, men, why everyone's getting caught doing stupid things, yeah, is because they do something and they want everyone to know. Do you know what I mean?
Why is that?
I don't know. And if they only told two people.
Is it ego? Is it like, look at me, I'm the big man?
Maybe stroking the ego a bit. Maybe being interesting. Maybe it's familiar ground. The whole stories is and I mean that as just a blanket term. Like talking about what happens as girls do the exact same thing.
Oh, girls do talk.
I've been there and heard girls talking very descriptively, even more than I've ever heard any man talk about anything ever. Do you know what I mean? But you just got to understand the game. And the reason why to quickly underpin back to what I want to say before we forget or run out of time, the mature thing about the communication.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're dealing with a man. And you said you're like an alpha man. An alpha man will always be able to tell you very quickly what it is and what it's not, especially if you have any idea of wanting to know.
Yeah.
Because they'll set the stall before you even got a chance of the conversation.
Yeah.
If someone's going along with it, selling you the dream, and doing the most, when really they haven't got that, they haven't got to the level of maturity yet to know that by doing all that and then you're doing it to that, go over there and over there, it ends up just being more headache in the future.
Of course.
You know, if your pattern, what's over there, you could balance loads of spinning plates and everyone knows their position. Do you know what I mean? Or you could just have the one thing you're happy with. But it's the communication every time and honesty. And that's what people can't. But the insecurities from the men will be like, if I tell this girl that the only thing I'm seeing them is physical or fun times, then their insecurity will believe in I don't have it like that, or they'll be interested in that. Do you know what I mean?
I think
that's why a lot of men don't, because they think they'll fumble the bag. I think they'll fumble what they're trying to do.
If I'm being totally honest with myself in this conversation, speaking from the heart, if I don't I don't think that if I was emotionally invested in somebody and they said to me, do you know what, Lydia, I'm actually not emotionally invested in you. I just enjoy having sex with you, like, whenever. I probably would instantly be unattracted to that person.
Yeah, of course
I'd
you
be
would.
like, do you know what, I'm
and
like,
that person,
see you later.
And that person.
But that is because I value I love myself. And I mean that in, like, you know, I love who I am. I think I'm a nice person. I think I'm all right looking. You know, I think I'm interesting. I think I'm fun. So I feel like I deserve to be with someone.
You set a standard.
Yeah, I have a standard for myself. Yeah. Now, that standard wasn't always there. But it is now.
Gotta be. But we always go back to this, yeah. People will be looking at why it's not working from every other angle apart from their own.
Yes.
As a man, and you as a woman, it's my job to make sure whoever I'm trying to spend time with still finds me interesting, still wants to get out of their bed at that day and come and spend time with me. That's on me. And if that stops, then I've done something to the point of, well, they don't feel that, and then that's fine. Do you know what I mean? And if you're a bit more accountable and see where you're going wrong and things, you don't want to keep chasing the same results and circling, chasing, wanting to get married when no man wants to take you seriously, when, you know what I mean? You
do men think that all women want to get married?
No, because we've all met examples of the girls that are, you meet them and they're on the same stuff as you and it kind of puts you off, because then that's subconsciously
they
you
act
start
like
thinking,
men.
Yeah, I've said to a few girls, you move like man. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but you move like man.
I would kind of like to move like a man.
My sister gave me that phrase, because apparently she got told it once upon a time not to be hotting up her thing. But yeah, sometimes girl move like man, and that's fine, but accountability always.
We can't win. We can't win.
So a man can go out, sleep with, I don't know, say 100 people.
Yes.
And then they'll meet the woman of their dreams. The woman will know they slept with 100 people, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because girls don't typically hold as much weight on that side of things as men do. So you know that to be the case. So if you go out as a woman, sleep with 100 people, and then your suitor mate or your future mate or, you know, says that 100's a bit mad, and then now you're like really shocked, but like, you know, to a certain extent in this game. Do you know what I mean? Even though I don't like judging on people's past, it's too tough. But if you're aware that this is the society we live in, and you know what I mean, typically 30% of men, say, this is made up, want a girl that's slept with less than 5 people, then don't be shocked that if you go and just do all your things, that it might become harder in the future to get someone.
Yeah, and I think, you know, double standards as well.
Do what you want to do at every stage, is what I'm saying. So if you want to go out and, you know what I mean, do the whole football team one night, do it. But if you go to bed...
Hat tip.
But if you go to bed with a smile on your face, like that was wicked,
yes,
then do it. But if you're putting yourself in situations where afterwards, and do you know how many girls I spoke to where they'll do something mad, willing, consensually, all of that thing. Yeah. And then after the fact, the regret comes in,
we've all been there. We've all been there. Where we're like, you're in the moment and you're like, then. You know, let's just go with things. And then the next day you're like, I wish I hadn't made those choices. And it doesn't have to be having sex with someone. It's an array of things. But here's a question for you, Sonny Edwards. This might be a bit personal, but
I'm good at personal.
I know.
I'll just lie if not.
So let's talk about, as you are becoming more successful, you are becoming more appealing to women, because you're Sonny Edwards. You're the champ. That don't mean much. You're the champ. You're undefeated. You're on TV. You're friends with this person. One, how have you seen, or how have you experienced the change in how women now approach you or perceive you or want to be around you. Second part of the question is, in my experience, I am surrounded by fighters all the time. Some of them married, some of them single, some of them in relationships.
Oh, we're gonna have some gossip here. Are you gonna?
No, we're not
expose some DMs. This is the part of the show they didn't know about. Who's DM Lydia today?
Yeah, it's gonna get my phone. Like, who's in my DMs?
I'm not gonna reply to them. I'm going. Carry on. Sorry.
But you know, so you get to see a wide variety of men in certain situations, circumstances, different things, and I've always kind of had a lot of like compassion for them and felt sorry for them, especially the high profile ones, because a lot of them seem very lost. And it's not necessarily fighters, it's anyone who's high profile, right? Let's not just be talking about fighters here. It's anyone who's high profile or in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, when sex gets easier to come by, love gets harder. Eh?
Yes. And it's like, you know, maybe it's because spiritually I have been on a like spiritual journey for a very long time, and I view relationships and love and like all relationships, not just sexual relationships. I really respect people, and I want to do good by people, and I want to make the right decisions and only work in love and like, you know, embody love at all times. And you kind of look at people who are high profile and sex is so readily available to them, with, you know, a wide variety of women. And it's like, is that not exhausting? And I've had conversations with men about this, and they're like, are you nuts? They're high-fiving each other. This is the best thing ever. You know? Also, why get into a relationship with someone if that's who you want to be and you want to take advantage of the fact that you get, you know, women very easily?
That is 3 questions you're asking me now, you know.
I just want to ask the questions because I need all the answers. I need to know.
So, first question was, how have I seen it change?
Yes.
From young, I was always a sweet boy. I was always quite interested in girls.
Still a sweet boy.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, you know, from young, I used to have to put a lot of effort in.
Did you?
Imagine. Yeah. Way too much effort for my liking.
Writing little romantic cards,
Nah,
or
nothing like that.
walking
Nothing
you home
like that.
after
Just
school,
talking all the time. Yeah, stuff like that. Going dates around the park and that. When I was a young boy, do you know what I mean?
Sorry.
But obviously, as I got older, but it's hard because there is that, you know what I mean, that I was younger. I looked always younger than what I was as well. And as I got older, perhaps did get a little bit easier. But also my confidence grew.
Yes.
So there's a lot that goes to it. Like,
so you're attracting, because your confidence going, you're attracting more people into your
like
corner.
not trying to delve into sex life and that. But you know, like once I knew that my setup was good, like, I'll be real. I'm not. You know what I mean? I've got a witness in the box that can. No, I'm joking.
Oh, don't.
I'm joking. No, I'm joking. Not really. I haven't really got anyone in there.
No, I know you're joking.
But what I'm saying is, that is a lot part of it.
Drink.
That's a part of it.
Yes.
Then I also was aware that I was doing well with boxing. That's a part of it. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot. And then
for you, if a woman approaches you and it's very apparent that she just wants to have sex with you because you're Sonny Edwards, are you okay with that?
It depends where I'm at in my life. My personal life. Depends who else is taking up my time. Do you know what I mean? But
yes.
nah,
would you not prefer to have like a loving?
You probably got the wrong idea of me, because you see me, just quickly on a tangent in the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've never, you know what I mean, it's all been the boys in the game and whatnot at times. But I'm not too much that I need to, make sure I go there this weekend, that have everything lined up.
No, I wasn't assuming that at all.
I'll have someone that's taking up my time.
Yes.
And then usually I'm invested into that. That's usually with me, right? And maybe it did get a bit easier, but the girls that I typically go for, like, I try and, you know what I mean, suss them out way before. I try and judge their character on things way before.
Absolutely.
You mention money straight away. You mention this. You mention that. You give me hints on the stuff. No. You get nothing.
What is your vetting process, or what is your filtering process? Because I'm not as high profile as Sonny Edwards, but unfortunately, I have experienced certain things over the last while as I'm becoming more well known that, you know, some people, how do I say? Some people, you know, might want to just get close to you so that they can go and say that they were close to you.
Trust me. And I've had them occasions. There's a couple of girls out there, I'm not going to name no names, that if I had my time again and could go back and have raised them, I 100% would.
Yes.
But for the most part, I think, you know what I mean? The girls you see me with, I think if you look at the type of person they are before you appreciate you being sit next to them, usually from appearance you can judge. Not always, but usually from appearance.
It's a very controversial.
But when we deep it, let's. This is just my way of thinking. I could be wrong 100 times in everything I'm about to say.
This is just your opinion. Perception.
So I just look, and there's certain things that I don't really go for, and
like?
that usually helps me.
Go on.
Fake titties. I don't offend no one, but fake titties are one of them. Fake lips. And I don't want to click down a fake lip because it's not all that, because I understand people want to touch up,
Yep.
But there's certain things. A girl that pouts in between every conversation, every sentence they say, big red flag. You know them girls on Love Island that speak and then in between go this.
I don't own a television, so I can't say that I've ever.
You know what I
watched
mean
Love
though, when they
Island.
stop and go, and they're fixing the hair all the
Like
time.
Ben Stiller in, what's that?
Zoolander. You know when they're fixing the hair all the time, constantly checking themselves.
Is that? But they're not.
I haven't got a mirror in my house.
They might be
I haven't got a
nervous.
mirror in my house, Lydia. I haven't got a mirror in my house. Any girl that comes to my house goes, you ain't got a mirror in your house. I go, no. But there's mirrored cabinets there if you want to look into it.
Why have you not got a mirror in your house?
I'm not Amish. I'm not vain. I don't check myself.
How do you shave your beard or brush your hair?
I don't look at it. I don't. I go to the barbers and say, yo, get this off as well. I don't. If I really need to, I've got like a quick thing.
What do you look at when you're brushing your teeth?
What do you need to look at?
I always have to look at
What do you need to look at? You don't need to look at nothing. You just do this.
No, you need to see yourself.
I've got yellow teeth, so I don't clearly do that. And much of that to be a problem. Maybe if I get a mirror right now, it's not. But I don't like. There's certain character traits that they just must not have, and any man that sort of gets wrapped up with a girl that's just after them for sort of money or whatever they can get out of them, and they can't see it. Like, as long as you can see it and be self-aware, you could have that girl on your arm, and you can marry her if you want. You can have kids with her if you think she looks good enough to do all of that too. But like for me, there just got to be more. Like, I'll be raw with my personal, and this is a pattern I'm hoping in the future to break.
Yeah,
I love honeymoon periods. The first 3 months.
Yeah.
But that's all it ever seems to be recently. Do you know what I mean? Like, my relationships ain't. You know what I mean? But I'm a difficult person, so maybe it's me.
Well, it could be you.
I'm a Capricorn.
You are a Capricorn.
And they're hard to love.
They're not hard to love, but they have an aversion to commitments. Long-term commitments.
Which I don't think. Do you know what? Yeah, my things is that regardless of whether someone's your wife, regardless of someone's your friend, someone you're sleeping with, if you're gonna do something because you want to do it, you're gonna want to do that anyway, regardless if there's a label attached to it, regardless if there's a ring on your finger. The person's still gonna do it. The person wants to go home with that woman after a night out, or go meet up with a sneaky link in for a coffee and then go wherever after. It's gonna happen. And same way when, you know, men try and control their women. It's like, you can keep them in the house all day long. You're still gonna leave it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
is that a thing?
Nah, but some men, they'll police what their girlfriend wears, where they're going, who they're going out with. Do you know what I mean? That's facts. I'm not just
I
making it
once
up.
dated a guy, I don't mind saying, because I'm not with him anymore.
You've left Ireland now, innit?
I've left Ireland, so I'm out. Peace.
Come find me, innit?
But we only dated for a couple of times. But I remember I actually went to the gym the next morning at the Muay Thai gym that I was training at the time, and I was telling all the boys, and they were just like, fucking red flag, get out.
And they knew. Oh, you tell them the story. Go on.
I was telling them, I was like, lads, I was like waiting to hear about last night. But so obviously I do jiu-jitsu, as you know.
Yeah, so you become one of the lads with that.
What?
You become one of the lads doing something like that. Like any girl in the boxing gym becomes one of the lads.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Naturally, like Chelsea.
Yeah.
Grant's daughter, Dalton's sister. They're one of my best friends in the world.
Yeah. Who I believe has the potential to be a world champion.
I should punch everyone up.
Yeah, someone told.
She'd punch everyone up. But it annoys me. I've been trying to get her to have a comeback for as long as I've known her.
And do you know what? It's very interesting about that as well. And it's kind of going off the subject a little bit. But, and again, I have to be delicate with my words here, but it's just my experience of it and the experience of the gyms that I've been in that I had to adapt. on how to be one of the lads.
Of course, you're not one of the lads.
Do you know what I mean?
Genetically, do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
you didn't.
So you
weren't in the same changing rooms as us when we was having them jokes. You weren't. You know what I mean? You weren't.
Yeah. No, I don't.
On trampolines, fighting and throwing each other, hurting each other's legs.
And I don't get into the banter, like the certain lab banter that you're in, and but you turn a blind eye to it.
No,
and you don't do a thing of like, oh my god, it's like you can't say that, or
conformity, innit?
Yes, I just have to just go.
The odd one out gets left out in the cold to freeze.
Yeah, you're just like, that's just the boys, like, and they're just whatever, right? But this particular person, he was cooking dinner for me in his house, and I was late. All right. I can sometimes be late.
Yeah.
And I turned up and he was like annoyed that I was late, and I was like...
And this is 2 dates in?
Couple dates.
Couple dates. How long? Period? Time frame? Because to get annoyed straight away... Was it in the call-off period? Like, could you still leave and not...
Oh, no. It was a period where I can leave and I can block his number and I can...
I probably
not
did
that I do that, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying.
I hope you did after that. About annoyed because you was late.
He got annoyed. No, I understand. He was cooking dinner and the dinner was ready and I was late and I didn't text him, and I can be very selfish with my time, and I was training jiu-jitsu, and that is my happy space. And I have loads of friends in jiu-jitsu, girlfriends, and most of them are dating people in the gym. And I've always said I would never date someone that I train with that is in my gym, because that is my space and that is time for me to just, for me. And it's just it's church, right?
Yeah, I understand.
So and jiu-jitsu is my favorite thing. And I was late. I had a few extra rolls and I was like chatting and different things. I was a bit an hour late. And when I got there, he was a little bit annoyed. And then he was like, where were you? I was like, sorry, I went to jiu-jitsu and blah, blah. And he turned around to me and he says, do you not ever feel like a bit of a whore, like rolling around the floor with men all fucking night?
That's a very insensitive way to pull it as well. Not even like...
well, Sonny Edwards.
The way you approach it though, that was such... That had ordered the Corma reversing dump truck.
I literally was like looking around. I was like...
And was that quote, or have you paraphrased to make it sound
That
worse?
was a quote.
Quote.
And I literally... Well, I wanted to get the plate of dinner and actually smash over his head. So I literally just went, okay.
A whore as well.
I'm going to go.
That's a harsh word.
That's a harsh word.
It's not even like a slut.
I was so mad that he had slipped the net. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't vet him properly. And I was like...
Well, here, if he's watching now, here is his vetting, you know what I mean? If he finds his way to the first exchange.
But anyway, I literally picked up my bag. I was like, I'm out of here, mate. I was just like, nobody speaks to me like that. Nobody. Like, how dare you? And I swear, like, it was the most liberating thing that I ever done, because he was just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, you're late, blah, blah.
Do not run your mouth.
Please come back.
Do not run your mouth.
But this is like the beauty of relationships and experiences with people, in that you get to navigate it and you get to, like, I love people and I love...
Could you imagine what he would have been like in 6 months?
I can't imagine. And I actually
You wouldn't have been going to that gym.
I'd literally be handcuffed to the bed.
That's what that conversation was like.
Yeah, I was
It's not a good look.
But on the back of that, I spoke to friends who...
Agreed.
No, Sonny.
I thought that was the curveball.
But like a couple that said, you know, I can see, I know guys...
Who are like the same insecure.
Who would be a little bit annoyed about, or girls who have... loads of guy friends. I have loads of girlfriends, but I have loads of guy friends, and we're really close. Like, you know.
Do you know what is the main thing for me in this conversation?
Yes.
It's how you meet the girl. So if you meet the girl, you're years into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or you meet a girl, she's in a nightclub, half dressed. Yeah. You can't then start trying to police different rules.
Yes, but can I be half dressed and do Jiu-Jitsu?
I mean, that'll probably be even worse. Maybe if you did it with a female sparring partner. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that was what he was trying to do. I don't know. But yeah, but men will do that, you know. And do you know what it is? And I like to think that on the odd occasion I've G-checked. Again, I use that word a lot.
What does G-check
It basically
mean?
means like check someone on it. So a G-check is giving them a gangster check. Do you know what I mean? So
right,
we level out again. Okay, you've gone too far. Let's level.
Okay.
At least let's discuss it, so you know that there's someone else thinking something different to clearly what you're thinking.
Okay.
Where I was going before I lose my trail of thought. Yeah, a lot of men, through their insecurities, will try and clip a woman's wings.
Yeah, Yeah, why would you do that?
And it's sad. And I've mentioned this to people before, and like, I'm not going to go into personals and things but men's insecurities will often not want their woman, you know, putting themselves into situations where they don't feel in control of. For your guy at this time, it was being in a gym full of men, an hour past the time that you were supposed to be there, you know, what you was up to, and if it was like you said it was, his insecurities are firing all over the place. Then there'll be some men that won't want their girl doing a certain job because it's a male heavily influenced X, Y, Z. But a lot of what happens... what happens, which is so sad, is 9 times out of 10 the girl allows it to happen because they care more in not losing that person than losing that chunk of identity of themselves that they're trying to get them to erase. Do you know what I mean?
Say that again.
Oh, you're really gonna... That was a tongue twister.
Say it again, though.
But they're scared to lose that part of their identity.
Yes.
Over the fact of losing that person.
Yes.
So they will give up that chunk. And
they
9
are
times
willing to risk it.
I know girls in my personal life that had big dreams for years, ever since I've known them, which is going back 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
Wanted to... I'm gonna use the example because I know she won't watch this. And if she does, shout out to her anyway. No, I'm not going to say no names.
She's going to watch this.
I'm not going to say no names.
Don't tell you to name. You don't
she
say
might do.
She won't watch this.
She might do, actually. She might
Everyone's going to watch this.
And I've not even said this to her because she's a friend of mine. But she's got a boyfriend, so as a respectful thing, I don't really chat to her no more. But for ever since I've known her dream has been to get to the RAF. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's a fitness girl. She's always had this dream. Talented girl, proper hardworking, enthusiastic, Anyway, got a boyfriend through lockdown, Last time I spoke to her, they're messing about, so I think I'm just going to leave it now. She said that when I know she was lying to me, innit? But obviously it's not to jump on. But it's like, she has let, because that was already an issue from when I first spoke to her. She has let her boyfriend and her love for someone cap her dream that she had for years. And it was literally getting to the point where she was about to go. She'd been doing all the things for time. And now she's just working whatever she's doing. Well, and it's sad. I think that's so sad.
It
and
is
I would
sad.
never be that. And I would never encourage any man to do that. Because if you're going to stop a girl, like I could even tell a story of when I encouraged someone else's dream and it did come back to bite me in the way that I thought it might. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's fine. Like me and that person now are still very, very much cool to this day. Do you know what I mean? Because as kids, as young, as life goes on, you're going to make your mistakes. Yeah. But don't be someone that, you know what I mean, let your insecurities... This is what I'm saying to man as well. Don't let your insecurities of whatever you've got going on. I don't know, maybe you think they might meet someone with a bigger watch or a better car. If do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Don't, because that little dick energy will reverberate way past the conversation you're having right now.
Absolutely.
And when they take it to their friends, you're a joke man now and you're getting laughed at.
And especially in this industry as well, for a woman to work in a very male-dominated industry, there is definitely a lot of...
I feel sorry for you. And you know what? Boxing is the worst one.
Thank you very much.
Boxing is the worst one because the split of male to women in that interested in boxing compared to any sport is nothing like I've ever seen. My following is something like 90% males, 10% females. And them 10% females are probably no.
Why do you feel sorry for me and the rest of the women that work in this?
Horrible. Men are terrible, the worst.
In what context?
Trash. In every... An example of that in every context. An example in every context. And, But the problem... And you know what the problem is, Like, a lot of men have this sort of, you know, some... predisposed, I don't know.
Disposition?
But with the ED at the end, innit? I'm going to try it. But way of thinking that they are naturally, like, here, and women are here. And they might not say it, they might go, yeah, I'm for equality. But it's through their actions that you can tell.
Course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because of the actual physical nature and the biological nature of a man versus woman, there is differences. We are not the same.
Yes.
Let me try and spit out a baby. Yes. Not happening. I could try now until I die. It's not happening.
Yes.
Same way you lot can't build up testosterone the same way.
Yes.
Same way we don't release and bleed it. Do you know what I mean? There's so many differences. You need to stop trying to be the same thing. And I think that sometimes women are so much better at certain things.
Yes.
But then they're trying to compete at the things that perhaps like, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't chuck a woman too tough on a rugby field and not get trampled on over. Like stereotypically, there might be anomalies, but that's all we are dealing with, anomalies. But as men, we don't have dominion over just treating women in a bad way. We should be going out of our way to care and nurture the same way they care and nurture for us. Like
100%.
every mum, every son has had their mum dote on them and be too soft on them. And this is the problem with society, yeah, that the mums, 9 times out of 10, the son can never do no wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's we like from young. It's you know, it's such a deep conversation. I keep backtracking myself. Like from young, like our whole makeups are different. As a girl, you could tell me better. You're told to cover up yourself, to be private. You know, to be reserved, to be modest, to be this, to be that.
Yes.
You play with dolls in the kitchen.
Yes. Why do we give young girls dolls and kitchens?
And shopping market sets. But boys, it's that's funny when you wave your way to
when you run through the sitting room in front of all the family.
It's funny when you swear. It's it's this.
Yes.
Fighting. We are so genetic, like, and then societally predisposed that we need to stay in our not stay in our lanes, because women and men are fantastic creatures, can do everything and everything in between, as we've seen time and time again. But you've got to know the rules. You've got to know and why I feel sorry for women and stuff like this is that men often encroach on personal boundaries, on personal standards, on personal fences. Consistently, though, I'm talking, how many times have you been having a conversation and a hand slapped on your leg? You know what I mean? Or someone's done something, said something, you're speaking professionally, and all of a sudden it's, can we go for a drink? What about that? Do you know what I mean? But how many times?
Okay, there are times.
There are times.
I feel it's how you navigate those.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, thankfully, I don't experience that a lot. But yeah, there has been.
People are quite good at diffusing it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing that has annoyed me in this, right? In the situations where I'm a very friendly person, as you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes men can construe that as, she's really into me.
Oh, but a man, you can smile. You can walk across the street, someone you've never ever seen before, look at them directly in the eyes for more than 1 second and smile at them as you walk off. They will go home thinking that you wanted to fuck them.
Yes.
And so...
And maybe I was just admiring your shirt.
Yeah, Miami Heat, shout out. LeBron on the back. Big James, my middle name.
Boys, and it is that thing of the woman having to diffuse the situation or play down the situation. Or sometimes I will find myself doing the...
trying to be like... Yeah,
like trying
now
to
you feel awkward as well, do you know what I mean?
Yes, and it's like... And you know, sometimes I kind of say to myself, am I... not fully, should I be more assertive in those situations? Like,
but you know one thing, though.
But I don't, because if I turned around and go, listen, mate, don't fucking put your hands on my leg.
You're problematic now.
Don't put your hands on my leg like that. Don't talk to me like that. Don't look at me like that.
You're problematic. That's it.
Yeah, get her out of here.
Difficult.
Get her out of here.
Yeah.
But I don't complain about that, right? Because it is what it is. But life is too short for me, but I understand it's wrong, and
it's
I understand
happen
it has to change, and it is going to happen. And in no matter what job that you work in, there will always be something
misogynistic.
There will always be something, right? And so when people say to me, when I get interviewed, they're like, "What's it like working in a male?" Blah blah, and they're just waiting for me to jump on that. Oh, it's horrendous, and. Like, there's all this trouble. I love this industry, and I love the men that are in this industry, and thankfully there are a lot of good people that work in it that are supportive, and I've been afforded more certain opportunities because I'm female in this sport. Do you know what I mean? So it's
getting to more too like that, though. It is getting more like that, though, where it seems like, I don't mean this in a bad way, because this might sound really offensive, but we went through a stage where everything was white, male people speaking about boxing for a long period of time. Yes. Now we're going through the diversifying, and that's different races, different religions, different genders, obviously, different people from different ways of life, X, Y, Z. But what we are finding out in this sort of process is the people that are good at their job and aren't good at their job, which is good. And like, there's people, from males, females, if you know something, you know it because you've taken time. And that isn't definitive.
You are a stickler for being educated in your role.
Yeah, but it's like, if you're going to do one thing, at least know it. Do you know what I mean? Like, my brain just picks up loads of things and remembers loads of things naturally anyway. But the only thing I'm expert in is boxing. I have an opinion on everything. The only thing I'm expert into the point of very few people could sit down and school me on it. You might be able to tell me Gene Tunney boxed in 1932, and because I wasn't born then, and I look at what I look at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, let's dissect the fight. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happened there, why it happened, what was the changes of da-da-da-da. You can't, like, very few people can school me on that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't take people's opinions more than my own in boxing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm an expert of it, I think. I'm a self-proclaimed expert on it.
Well,
because I'm
self-proclaimed, but you've gotten your knowledge and insight of boxing has put you in the position that you're in that you're being asked to commentate. You're being given this platform now where people are recognizing that you make sense, you're controversial, you're honest, you tell it like it is, you've got the information, and when you put it all together, it makes for a really good pundit, or it makes for a really good commentator.
But I feel like, because there's a few things that fit into that, and like I just seem to fit the criteria needed for them sort of things. Like, one, I talk a lot. Yeah. 2, I can waffle. 3, I can join this point and that point. I've you know what I mean? I had A levels, GCSEs at history, English, just to name a few. Like, so I'm good at patterning out. Do you know what I mean? Or filling out whatever I need to fill out, and sort of, you know, communicating to a certain degree. But the main difference between me is, one, you don't get too many of them people in boxing anyway. Yeah. Because of what we talked about earlier. Yeah. Undereducated. Yeah. Because their mind was elsewhere on other things. People that was getting straight A's and getting tipped to go to Oxford University very rarely are leaving school to go up to fucking East London and go do boxing or wherever they choose to go and go get a head punched in and come back late and go running at stupid o'clock in the morning. Like, there's a lot more that goes to it. Yeah. But because I am genuinely a fan of boxing and I absorb myself in anything that I'm in, like, everything just sort of clicks. Who knows, when I stop boxing, even though I'll probably be coaching, but who knows, when I'm boxing, that all might fall away because my interest might not be there no more. I can't see that happening because my goal is to exist from now until the day I die and not have a job. I've never had one.
Well, you did say you want to live off the grid, right?
Yeah, I could. If I had like a little, you know, a little hedge fund set up and I had like a little thing, I would love to just disappear.
Would you really?
Yeah, kind of.
No social media. Yeah, no TV work.
Social media isn't as big a thing for me as people think it is. It's not. People like genuinely think like I'm like. I mean, it's not. If I wasn't a boxer, Sonny was the boxer, I'd probably be one of them blank accounts. Like, I only post because I think, I need to post. Do you know what I mean?
Do you ever feel under pressure?
Nah, never under pressure. I just feel like, let me remind them who I am. Do you know what I mean? I ain't been on the timeline in a few days. Let me just remind them.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's all it is. Do you know what I mean? Just, I'm still here. Do you know what I mean? That's what you got to do as a boxer. That's why most of my posts, when you really think about it, they're song lyrics. Because that's all I actually really do is listen to music and do whatever I do. I need to post a picture. I'll be thinking of a song, think it relates to a certain degree. It might not even, just dash it up.
On that note, can I just say thank you very much to everyone if you're still with us for watching the First Exchange podcast. I listened to the First Exchange podcast. I was your host, Lydia Dahl, and thank you to my guest, world champion Sonny Edwards. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was good fun, right?
I would have walked out.
What?
I'd have walked out if I didn't enjoy it. 2.5 hours. I'm on a date. I'm on a date. It's our first date, you know.
Really? In here?
Yeah, I'm joking. I don't know.
Freaking hell, Jesus. But I'm glad that I'm not on your ex list. Not your ex. Not on your ex list. Not on your ex or your sex list. Your ex. What did you say? Your blacklist. Your media blacklist. So thank you for being here. And you're going to have to come back. We might have to do this a little bit more often.
Of course.
Do you want to thank your sponsors?
I ain't got enough time. Shout out Empire.
Yes, thank you, Team Empire.
Shout out to the staff in the building holding it down till 10 to 9. We appreciate you. I know we've got places to be.
Absolutely, we're getting out of here.
I know there's certain people here got dogs at home. You know what I mean? Couple of little, what are they? Pugs.
Pugs, yes.
They're going hungry right now.
Pugs need to be fed.
We're going to get home and feed them.
Yes.
But yeah, apart from that, I ain't got much more.
Thank you very much. And lastly, I have to say congratulations. I know we've said it before, but world champion, world title. You're one of the very few that have reached that status. So congratulations.
No, I appreciate it.
And we look forward to your next outing.
Thank you.
See you soon. Sonny Edwards for the First Exchange podcast.